Yeah. So when you I segued again, but when you got to that point where you started to spread your wings and fly, what was the next modality that you transferred into? Because I think that'd be really interesting for people to hear about how not only did you benefit from a 12-step program and you still visit them, but what would you say was the next revelatory um, spiritual practice that you were introduced to?
So it was I was counseling on and off for a while, and then that guy finally got me to go to the 12 step meetings. And then once I kind of like saw what was available, I was all about it. And so the 12 step was the main focus while I was still doing counseling. And then really meditation became like the next big thing. And I'd spent a couple summers at a retreat center that was very holistic and mindful. And me and a couple of the guys would do like competitive meditation. So like like a typical suburban New Jersey, sports kid, addict who can't get enough, kind of energy. But essentially, it was like, okay, cool. You have a practice. I have a practice. He has a practice. I sit for 20 minutes. You sit for 30. Okay, I'm going to sit for 40. And we just like would talk smack, but we would share about what we were observing and learning. Yeah. And then
That's incredible.
it was cool. And then
Talk
like
and meditate.
once a week we would go and like sit and just like sit as long as we could. So, 50 minutes, an hour and a half, and everything hurts, your legs are on fire, but like I'm not going to stop because he didn't stop, So it was yeah, it was a trip. And and then there was like an older head who overheard us, like our like aggressive competitive sangha experience. And he was like, hey, if you're really into meditation like that, there's these retreats that are like 10 days long and they're silent, and you can go and just meditate for like 10 hours a day for like 10 days. And so well, I'm an extreme person. Like as an addict, I'm an extreme. The 12 steps are extreme. So I'm like, yeah, let's do it. So I went to my first Vipassana meditation course. And yeah, man, and that was game changer. Um, so yeah, so meditation was the next big one. And then that piqued my interest in yoga because like the the thing that we commonly identify in the West as yoga, as far as the asanas and the body movements, that's cool. But really, the whole point of yoga and doing all the stretching and moving is to then set you up for long-term meditation. Like the whole purpose of yoga is to clear you and get energy moving more freely, so then you can sit in meditation for an extended period of time. So I got into
Wow, I never
yoga.
did that.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I mean, the asanas, like the actual postures and movements, like the origination of those was they were spontaneous movements out of deep meditation. So essentially somebody's in deep meditation, like a yogi or sadhu or something, and then like the arm would go up and like the arm would rotate, right? Because you're releasing, you're working through stuff, and then all of a sudden that became like, oh, okay, do your arm circle, do your other arm circle, and now there's this whole recipe of movements that people do and then go to Starbucks. But really the
Would,
movements.
would you say that yoga has become kind of McDonaldized in the West, sort of?
That's the West. That's what the West does, dude. We take everything and we like, okay, boil it down. What are all the shortcuts? What's emphasize the impact and shrink it down. It's like we've been TikToking life before TikTok happened.
Yeah, yeah. It's almost like sexualized too. It's bizarre. It's almost who can wear the tightest revealing clothes,
Yeah,
do these 20-minute yoga sessions, and then put it on TikTok and
yeah.
you know
When you have to
do a
do like
brand.
yeah, if you do like handstands on the edge of a cliff overlooking a beautiful ocean, yeah, for your Instagram. And yeah, well, like, that's why we need these practices because we're so silly and lost, and yeah.
To
So yeah,
touch back on Vipassana, that is something that I wanted to try. I actually signed up for it, and then COVID hit, so they put a kibosh to that. I was going to leave, and maybe 10 days right off the rip was a big undertaking. Maybe a 3-day would be more appropriate as an introduction. But if you could explain why it was profound, was it seeing the absurdity of the mind coming and going, and the narration, and the ego, and just being the witness to that with nothing to distract you for 10 days. What would you say is the beauty to it?
Yeah, I mean it's well said. Again, like having an idea of it is one thing, but then to actually be on the roller coaster ride of like seeing all of your shenanigans and not indulging them, because like I have a lot of BS that goes on, but I indulge a lot of it. You know? Like today, I catch more of it and like kind of let it go more than I did, 5 years, 10 years ago. But when you're in these meditation retreats, I mean, it's an hour of meditation, a 5 minute break, 2 hours of meditation, a 5 minute break. So you're just in meditation. And so the mind is trying to go everywhere else besides focusing on the breath. And so, so yeah, man, it's a roller coaster ride. Yeah. And
So by a certain point, did it stabilize for you, and you kind of got into that sweet spot after a few days?
yeah, there's definitely like a learning and a refinement of the practice over time. Yeah, absolutely. Like you start to learn how to just settle and rest in very like non-doing, observing kind of space. But that it comes with time, like finding the balance. You usually fall off both sides for a while, right? So like, there's one meditation where I'm like super aggressively focusing on my breath until I have like a was it like a migraine, and then the next meditation I'm like, oh, okay, I'll go easy this time, and then I'm just having like fantasy dreams about naked body parts. It's like, okay, like, maybe not over there, maybe not over here, so like it takes a little while to find our way into a more of a centered or a grounded space or presence, which some people would say is actually, the truest definition or the truest experience of what we are. But yeah, man, like the mind has been running wild for years. And if you believe in reincarnation, potentially lifetimes, the mind has just been running in a million different directions, chasing and being attached to things. And so then to come and sit and just focus on your breath for like an hour straight is like, there's gonna be some fireworks.
Right.
But I have not. I was saying to a friend the other day. So there are 10-day retreats, and with the Goenka tradition, that's the one I hung out with. You have to do 10 days the first time, because essentially, like, and he talks about it at the retreat in the videos, like that gives you a true opportunity to experience the benefits of the practice. Because like 3 days is cool, but like 10 days gives you the opportunity to really dive in. And I haven't come across anything, including like opiates, that touch what is available in like the seventh, eighth, and ninth day of a 10-day meditation retreat. Because you're talking 10 hours a day for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 straight days. So the mind is very clear. It's very like right here. And when we're not totally caught up and lost and drunk and chasing, there's a very profound peace that's available. So yeah, man. Highly recommend. Two thumbs up for Vipassana.
Yeah, there's a mutual friend of ours. I remember she told me it was the most important thing that she had done for herself spiritually.
Beautiful.
And that statement, that she said it with a lot of weight to it. So I knew that she meant it. And that still stuck with me to this day. And I did a mental check note like, okay, if
Yeah.
all hell breaks loose, I'll keep that in my pocket to try it, and maybe it'll be good.
Yeah. I mean, if you have an earnest seeking to you, and I mean, I don't know. I feel like your vibe is very, very clear, as far as where your heart's at and what you're about. Like, yeah, go do it. It's like I said, I don't know that you can compare it to other things. It's its own thing, and it definitely feeds and nurtures the spirit or the soul in a way that, like even like ayahuasca, boga plant medicines. Like I've had amazing experiences with them, but they hit different than a commitment and an investment in a meditation retreat like that. So you signed up once, man. Just sign up again, though.
Yeah. Now, though, I've worked myself into a point where I am imprisoned by some of my own materials, which is kind of a ridiculous way to state it. I mean, I'm glad to have somewhere to live, grateful for my car. These things are all necessary to keep the action figure going. But uh, with my current finances, we will see. Maybe in a couple of years when I can stash away a couple bucks, I don't have to work every day.
Well, okay, so I mean, take care of your bills, but the cool part about the Vipassana Goenka stuff is it's donation based.
Donation, right? Maybe
And
the same one. Was it in New Hampshire or Vermont? Where did you go?
Western Massachusetts is the closest one. In
I think it was the same one. Yeah, it was like a Goenka.
yep,
It's been a while since I looked into it, but who knows, man? Maybe.